This video is about using what you got at home to achieve certain results. And today I'll try to do sort of a JIB hack. This is version 2 of it. I did this video some time ago where I used a tripod with lots of parts attached to it to make decent product shots. But one problem that I have with this setup is that the camera is static. It doesn't tilt or move like I want it to. That's okay with smaller objects, but if a camera can stay horizontal, it would be a lot better. So I'm going to try a few different things here to achieve that result. And as a starting point, I have this sturdy Manbily tripod. It's got a foldable arm, and I did a review of this tripod a few months ago. You can find that in the link up there somewhere. This is now my go-to tripod, especially for these crazy setups. It's well built, it's very sturdy, and of course it's got this foldable arm that can move in any direction. To make that arm a bit longer, I use this center column from another tripod, and sometimes I use this extension arm as well. So at the end of this stick, I use a ball head of any kind. And this center column already has a ball head attached to it. So it kind of looks like a JIB already, but the camera movement is limited. Of course I can loosen the ball head a bit, and that works okay-ish. I could also put the video head at the end for even smoother shots. I could of course go ahead and build a proper JIB from things from the hardware store like this guy, but at the same time I could always buy a JIB like this one. It's only around 200 euros, so it's not really a point in building something myself, at least not for what I'm doing. Or I can hang the camera under a ball head like this and let gravity take care of the work. So I got this thing. These are super cheap hot shoe adapters. I'll put one end in the hot shoe and then screw in the other end in the Arca Swiss plate. I think it would be better to use a cage here, since it's more than sketchy to dangle the camera from the hot shoe. But it's all in the interest of science, right? I thought about getting some sort of a rail or one of those longer Arca Swiss plates, but since I'm only trying this out, I'll just use a heavy ball head and another heavy piece from a tripod and use that as counterweights. Hopefully that extra weight will also smooth out unwanted jitter. The ball head is completely loose here, and even if the camera stays horizontal in this vertical motion, it sways a bit. It also easily rotates, which isn't what I want. I've been thinking about different ways to control that rotation remotely, but that's for another video. I also tried this with my full frame camera that hasn't got any stabilization whatsoever, only because I'm curious if this is the way forward at all, or if I should leave this approach altogether. Maybe this setup would work better with one of these shoe adapters, but I highly doubt it, since it really is the ball head that's rotating. So I'll leave this idea and move on to a more modern approach that you will also see on bigger JIBs. I simply put an old gimbal I have laying around at the end of the stick. This is only a small gimbal, so I have to use my point and shoot camera for this. I think for heavier setups I would need an even sturdier extension arm along with the proper counterweight. At the end of the gimbal I put the Arca Swiss plate and attach the whole thing to the tripod. It's a bit of a faff to put everything together, but in the end I feel it works quite well for what it is. What I appreciate the most with using this JIB contraption is that it allows for larger movements, which works great for what I normally film, bikes. Let's have a look what kind of a result I get here. Keep in mind that this is the first time I tried this setup, but I think it turns out nicely. This whole setup is just a way for me to see what I can do with what I have at home. I don't think I will bring out all these things when I'm doing a bike review. I like to bike lightweight And sometimes it's about workflow and convenience and achieving 80 to 90% by just shooting handheld. My viewers couldn't care less if I film a bike with a JIB or anything else. But it's been fun to test, and possibly I will use this new Ghetto JIB setup for product reviews maybe. I hope you got something out of this video.